do this, guys? Who's ready? Let's start with Instagram.
Okay.
Okay, never mind. We started with YouTube. Hello, and welcome to the Character Select podcast, first live episode that we are doing. I am Anjali Bhimani,
And I'm Julia Bianco.
and we are coming to you from two different locations. As you can tell, I am here at the Pine Studios, Slap Studios, Los Angeles. Julia is off in the real world outside of the studio where she is not blue lit, and I
I'm a
appreciate
little
you.
sad about it, though. I
I
kind of want to
know, I
get
know.
the
It's
like.
really, really special here. It's a special place. So everybody, here's the thing. Julia and I and our incredible team. Julia and I attempted to learn tech. I got the medical gene, not the tech gene. So we have a wonderful crew here trying to make this work. But please let us know if there are any sound issues, if there are any video issues, so that we can ask one of them to solve it because we are going to be too focused on answering all of your questions. And
Yay!
because we thought we'd be really crazy, we are also going to go live on the Instagram. So we're going to say hello to all of those folks there as soon as we do this. And you
Uh,
guys hopefully will be patient with us as we make this happen.
just
Okay.
gonna say they get to watch us like
They
live
get to watch
figure
us
out how
fumble while we
to.
figure out. Yes, here we
Yes.
go.
So you do it first, and then I
Hello.
do it. Right.
Hello, followers. Hello, Instagram. It's Anjali Bhimani here. I am here, and you guys are here with us as we do a YouTube live. I am going to be inviting my co host, Julia Bianco, in this moment. Hi, Dan Telfer. Hi, Wisteria Melody Cosplay. There's Julia Beers casting. Here she goes. Smooth jazz with Anjali Bhimani.
I
This
would pay for
is
that.
why. Aha, yeah, that's right, Esmer. There's the Insta notification. I love that you're on both. That is commitment to a gesture. Love that.
And
Hello,
I.
hello, hello. Now I am hearing an echo
It's
of
my
my.
fault. It's
You
my
see, we
fault.
learned tech, you guys. We
I
figured it
try. I
out. We
keep it keeps
she's
like bumping back up, like, but I don't want it to.
That's quite all right, you guys. This is so much fun for us. I don't know if it's fun for you, but it's really fun for us as we figure all of this out. Hello, all of you beautiful people on Instagram. Hello, all of you beautiful people on YouTube. Hello, Pender Sweets. Oh my goodness, haven't seen you in ages. Um, you guys, we have launched a podcast and we're having a great time doing it.
I'm
I
so
think.
failing.
Are you failing? Are you having trouble there?
I am failing, but I'm getting there.
Okay.
Don't worry. I'm
All
getting there.
right.
I'm getting
I see that there is freezing happening there on Instagram, so she's
there.
going to
Yeah.
come back while I vamp. You guys, we are so excited to be doing this live episode, even though tech continues to try to keep us apart, keep us away from you. We're here. Um, and Julia, there she is. View request, go live. Dun dun dun. Dun. So yeah, we started a podcast a few weeks back, 8 weeks back, I think it was
Yep.
when we
It just
started this
won't let me
podcast.
mute my phone. Yep. Yep.
Well,
Yep.
that's all
Just
right. I can. I. It's all right. We're just gonna do it this way. This is the way we're gonna do it, I guess. Yeah, it won't let you
yeah.
mute your phone. Just
No.
turn the volume all the way down, Julia.
That's what I'm doing, and it keeps bumping it back up. It's like acting against me. I swear to God, I should screen share
All right,
what
you
I'm
guys. So can
seeing.
I? So this is a perfect segue into what really goes into great video game performances. Incredible sound engineers, unlike
Yeah.
us.
Hmm.
We are the ones who can't operate our own gadgets. The incredible sound engineers back then are nailing it. We are just having a tricky time. But we love you and thank you so much for joining us today as we do this ridiculously ambitious thing of trying to stream in two places at once, which is only ambitious because, again, I didn't get the tech gene, I got the medical gene. So I can intubate you with a pen, but I cannot figure out how to do Instagram Live smoothly. So, hello. So we wanted to do this live episode to connect with you guys and hear more about your questions, about your responses to the show, about the guests. I mean, our incredible guests, you guys. How incredible are our guests? How incredible. It's
The
just been we've
best
been so
guests.
incredibly lucky, right? I mean, I kind of
Well,
just
and
want to talk through our episodes to talk about our guests before we even take any questions because such incredible human. We started with Matthew Mercer, which come on, like
Starting
if
out with a bang.
it started with a bang with the incredible Matthew Mercer, the incomparable Matthew Mercer. And what was funny about that episode is that we recorded it so long ago that between the time when we recorded it and when it aired, he was suddenly in like 30 more games, right?
Abs-
Including
yeah.
I think Final Fantasy came out
Yep.
between now and then,
Hmm.
and what else came out? You guys had just released Tears of the Kingdom,
Yeah. Had Baldur's Gate even come out?
but yeah, no, Baldur's Gate just came. Like, yeah, whatever. Just two really tiny games that no one's ever heard of. So we started with Matthew, who is incredible, and got to hear all about his history in gaming and how his grandmother and he bonded over gaming. One
Trading
of
Atari games.
trading Atari games. Did you
Yeah.
play Atari when you were a kid?
I missed that generation by just a tiny bit. I
I
was just a
gotcha.
little bit
Okay.
after.
Gotcha.
Hmm.
Well, we definitely wore our Atari out. That is for sure. And then his beautiful homage to David Hayter's performance of Solid Snake and all of the intricacies of that performance was such a joy to listen to. And then to hear from David how much that meant to him was really, really special.
Oh, special
So
for us to receive, knowing that people know that their work is being appreciated by their peers is a really nice thing to facilitate.
yeah, and that we've been saying this a lot, that that was such an unexpected joy, such an unexpected added bonus to this experience, was getting to watch the people who were being talked about light up when they heard what other people had to say about their particular work. And then
And
even
there's more of that coming.
oh, there's so much
There's
more of that
some really
coming.
good ones coming.
Yeah. But okay, so we did Matthew Mercer. The number two was, oh my gosh, the goddess Jen Hale. Come on. I mean, not only one of our dearest friends, but also one of the most accomplished people in all of voiceover. Um, we lost Julia on Instagram, so I'm going to be talking to you guys and vamping until she comes back. But that's okay. That's okay because technology will not thwart us in this endeavor. So we had Jennifer, who we flew all the way up to Canada to be able to record and to be able to film with. Nice to have that beautiful excuse for us to get on a plane and go see her. Then number three was I'm trying to think of the order that we had. Michael Chu, of course, our beloved
And
Michael Chu,
Erica,
and then Erica
um,
Ishii and Tom
I
Keegan and
requested.
Austin
Should
Wintory.
I leave? Let me
Oh,
try
I'm
again.
sorry. Thank you. She requested me. She requested me. You shall have me. I said yes. Did it work?
Do it
Hello.
again.
Do it
Do it
again. Oops.
again.
No. Sorry, Dastardly Dave Games. You're not going to join us, but Julia is. Sorry about that, Dastardly Doctor of Vega. I'm sorry about that.
Yay, I'm back. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
She's back and better than ever. So yeah, we've had some incredible guests on our show. We haven't even
Jennifer
mentioned all the
Hale
ones that
is
we've
where
had.
we stopped when
We
I
stopped at Jennifer Hill,
disconnected.
but then
Sorry.
we
Yeah,
listed. So we had
Michael, Erica,
Michael, Erica,
Austin.
Tom Keegan, Austin Wintry, Jayanne Lopez, who you got to get up early in the
The
morning
queen.
to be able to eat. Like, she does more before breakfast than most of us do in an entire year. She's incredible, absolutely
Incredible.
incredible. And then we have some more wonderful guests
And
coming your way before we close out season one.
and Abu.
And Abu, oh my God,
Mm-hmm.
how on earth could I forget that we had already aired that episode? Abu Bakar Salim, who is not only an extraordinary actor on television in House of the Dragon, but he is also both and also in what do you call it? Assassin's Creed, for which he
Mm-hmm.
won some tiny award called the BAFTA. Um, and he is the owner, creator, founder of a game studio called Surgent Studios, and they just put out their first game, which he also happens to be the leading voice in. So he's not ambitious at all, but the game is beautiful, and I hope everybody gets a chance to play it. It's on all platforms, which is also wildly ambitious. I still don't know how he pulled that off.
Yeah, no kidding.
Just still absolutely don't have any idea. So that's where we left off, I believe. And I think there are like 900 questions since we have vamped so long. I have our beautiful, our beautiful assistant, Dana White. No, I'm sorry. This is Dan Telfer sitting over here, and he's gonna help us out with some of the questions. Hit
I
us,
think you
Dan. What you
just
got?
got his drag name.
I did. That's your drag name. I hope you don't mind. We coined that for you.
No, thank you.
Uh,
Esmer 2 Dragon wants to say they love the guests and how they talk about the characters that have impacted them. What sparked the idea to discuss a character?
Thank you, Esmer Two Dragon.
Will you repeat the question, Anj?
Yes, I was just about to. So,
Sorry.
they were saying that they love the podcast. Thank you very much, and they love the particular conceit of being able to talk about the characters and those performances. And what was it that inspired us to do the podcast that way, to talk about the characters, not just about our guests? You want to start with that magical mystery tour story?
Sure, yeah. So Anjali and I magically landed together as judges or juries on the BAFTA Game Awards in 2023 for Best Supporting Performance
Was
in
that
a video game.
2023?
I think so, or two. Was it
Oh,
two?
oh my gosh, you
It was a
guys.
couple of years ago. It wasn't this past one, it was the one before that. And
Yes.
we found ourselves on a jury at 6 a.m. With a bunch of other people in the game industry,
Hmm.
including actors, art directors, sound designers, all sorts of people. And we
Hmm.
talked through 10 game performances and all of the ones for the nominated category.
Hmm.
And the way that we talked about them had so much reverence. People were pointing out things that we would never know was kind of an issue or went into a game performance. And
Hmm.
it just allowed us to just have this deeper conversation that we never kind of had imagined. And the moment we got off of that call, we decided we needed to bring this conversation out into the open,
Yeah.
so that people could understand the nuances that go into a video game performance.
Yeah, it was such an incredible morning, to hear everybody's vantage points, to hear the unique things that everybody was saying. Also, I would like to point out, just for the record, that this has nothing to do with the story that we are telling, but that was my phone that was causing that problem. Even though I turned down the volume, it decided to pop back up on me. So it wasn't just your phone. My phone too has been acting up. But my beloved, taller, handsomer half just walked in, literally pressed a button, and all of a sudden it sounds better. He's a magic maker. What can I say? I married well. But yeah, that conversation was so special and so, like, almost transformative, I want to say, for me, at least, in terms of realizing it was very validating to see how people responded to how people responded and how people spoke about these incredible performances that were happening. It gave me a lot of hope that people were actually being affected by them. And I and Julia immediately got on the phone afterwards and said this conversation needs to be brought out into the world. Um, I'm just going to point out a tech issue because we're doing it today.
I
Hey, Julia,
know, I know. My camera just
just
decided
decided to
to
autofocus. It wanted
not.
to put, you know what? It wanted to put you in soft focus, kind of like
Hmm.
old Star Trek style, where they put the
Hmm.
Vaseline on the lens. That's all it's doing.
Yeah, I just
Um,
can't fix it without leaving. So
oh, I got you. Do you
yeah,
want to leave and come back?
I mean, if you want me to,
I wanna see your beautiful face. I think
bye.
everybody on YouTube is gonna wanna see your beautiful face. I
Okay,
think
be
that's
right
an important thing.
back.
Okay, BRB, bye. You guys, this is gonna be an entire episode devoted to the wonders of crew and having an excellent team behind you, because the two people who are having the biggest problem here are she and I. But let's grab another question, shall we?
Yep. This one is for you
Okay.
specifically to
Okay.
fill the break. Are there any dream roles or stories that you haven't been able to explore?
Oh gosh. Yes. I mean, specifically stories that I haven't been able to explore. We almost had her, and then just went away. Yay, there she is. Surprise. We have you back crystal clear. I'm very
Hi.
happy about that. Oh, I see why I'm confused. You guys keep changing windows. Okay. Oh, you guys. All right. Are there any specific roles or stories that I haven't been able to explore that I want to? Absolutely. In terms of stories, actually, there's an existing game that I would love some more story in. I would love to learn a little bit more about Symmetra's backstory. We are getting a lot of information about her lore, her experience with Life Weaver has started to come out and all of that stuff. So that's been great. But I'd love to see, it's a very lore heavy game. Sorry, can we repeat the question? The question was, are there any roles or stories that I haven't been able to explore that I would like to explore? So that is very, very, that one would be really, really fun. As far as the dream role, I think it needs to be written before I know that it's the dream role. I really don't. I don't. Once a role has been written and performed, very rarely do I look at it and be like, "Oh, I'd love to play that role someday," because someone has already done it in a really incredible way, and I that's theirs now. I feel like that's their iconic thing. So yeah, I can't wait for someone to write it and call me and cast me and hire me to do work.
Working on it.
Maybe it'll be Julia. Who knows? It's entirely possible. It's happened before.
Mhm.
All right. What other questions have you got for us, folks? Let me hear. For Julia from
Femi London.
Fem London.
Femi.
Oh, Femi London. Sorry.
Julia, in your book, you speak about MCAP companies looking to expand their tech.
Julia, in your book, The Art and Business of Acting for Video Games, now available on Amazon and where books are sold, you speak about your book about mocap, and I didn't get the last part.
How to expand their tech.
How to expand their tech.
And they want to know, does Julia know any companies specializing in MCAP equipment for disabled persons?
Oh, great question. Do you know of any companies that are specializing in motion cap tech for disabled persons?
Not off the top of my head, but I definitely have seen on a few of like the research sites and stuff like that,
Hmm.
the discussion. I would be really interested to know what Xsens is doing, because they're the ones that's the most kind of accessible
Hmm.
uh, to users outside of a motion capture studio. I
Hmm.
think one of the biggest issues that comes into play is the occlusion and issues that happen when there are metal objects and things like that in the volume. But when it's a suit
Oh.
that goes on, it may have less of those issues and certain things. But I think in terms of disability progress in tech, it's very, very behind, and it's something
Mm.
that it may even be something that people have opportunity to approach companies as volunteers to test tech, or folks to work on testing tech to be able to expand past disabilities, and to be able to accept people of all abilities in the volume and or in the suits.
I hadn't even thought about the possibility of like a metal being messing with the signal and stuff like that. This is precisely why we want to have these conversations on this show, because Julia's expertise is so, I mean, it's so much more vast than mine, period. But this is just not something that you get a chance to learn about unless you're talking with someone who's asking a question from that vantage point. So thank you so much for that question.
Thank you, Femi. I got to meet Femi in Costa Rica.
Oh, lucky
We had
you.
we had a whiskey in honor of your dad.
Oh, thank you guys for
Mhm.
that. Thank you, Femi. I really appreciate that. Let's grab some questions from the YouTube, shall we? I can see them up there, so I can grab one. Is that cool? Or are you grabbing
I'm
Instagram?
typing in front while people like make it distracted.
Never mind. I will answer those. Um, Kate the Great Cosplays is saying that. Oh no, never mind. Don't worry about that. Yeah, Kate the Great, try refreshing your browser, see if that helps. Or like hopping out and hopping back in. And if it does not, let me know. Okay, I'm just gonna do one of these, you guys, because many people are asking. Um, uh, Hello, Rampart. Can you say hi to my wife Bianca? She loves you, and you're her main two, and it's her birthday. So this is a birthday song for everybody whose birthday is happening this week. All right, here we go. Da-da-da-da. Happy birthday to you. Dee-dee-dee. Happy birthday to you. Dee-dee-dee-dee. Happy birthday, dear all of you who are having birthdays today. And this week, you're all very awesome. Happy birthday to you. That's right. That's why they pay me the big bucks.
Woo!
No, they don't.
Indeed.
That's not what happens. But happy birthday. Happy birthday. So yeah, folks are getting no sound from Julia on Instagram.
That's
Maybe
because I was muted, maybe like for a little
maybe
bit.
maybe because you were muted for a minute.
Now,
That's entirely
now,
possible.
now I got sound.
There
Sorry,
they
y'all.
are.
You guys, I'm really good at tech.
You guys, I look, both of us, like, this is gonna be the best YouTube video ever. It's gonna be so good. Cool, cool, cool. Let's ask some more questions. Answer some more questions. Go for it,
Sorry.
Dan.
Okay. This question is from Sentinel.
Okay.
They wanted to know if we could expect future episodes with guests that you're maybe not as acquainted with.
Yes. So, Sentinel, thank you for your question. Can we expect future episodes with guests that we are unacquainted with? Why, absolutely, you can expect that. As we continue to move forward, we are obviously going to be bringing in people that are outside of our circle of awareness. We have been taking requests from people. We have been clocking the suggestions that you all make. So
Yeah.
please continue to make those. Where are they sending? Are they sending those to character?
Uh,
Just like this, as if it's like secret?
to the Gmail, or you
Yes.
can do it
Yeah.
on Spotify,
Yeah.
or Instagram.
I love that I was speaking into a microphone and then I started going like this, like as if that was a secret. No, Anjali, that's still broadcasting to the entire
That's
world.
okay. I was just muted for like 10 minutes, so we're good. We're doing great.
We're sort of like the guinea pigs for the studio. Like, if we can manage it because we're both idiots, if we can manage it, then anyone can. Then we will have officially completely stupid proofed the studio. Excellent. Okay. But yes, we are always looking for ideas of new guests. One of the things that we very much want to make sure that we do is, while our actors are often the most well known guests that we have, we really want to uplift the voices of the creators behind the scenes, of the game developers, of the artists and the musicians and all of the people who don't necessarily get the exposure that they should be getting for their incredible work, because we want people to know how much work goes into these games, and that the actors, as impressive as so many of their performances are, that we actors are kind of one small part, not even kind of, we are one small part of this incredible wheel, one tiny cog in the wheel that are making it happen. So but thank you for your question. All right, Dan, hit me with another one.
All right. This comes from Anxious Beanpole.
Anxious beanpole. I have so many questions, but I'm not going to ask them.
They want to know, Anjali, as a huge fan of Stray Gods, how much input did you have in the development of Medusa?
Ah,
And did the knowledge of mythology affect the creative process at all?
great question, Anxious Beanpole. So the question is, as a huge fan of Stray Gods, how much input did you have in the development of Medusa, and did any knowledge of the mythology affect the creative process for the characters? Two very separate questions. So first of all, I was very, very lucky to be working with such a collaborative team and to be coming in as early in the process as I did. I was fortunate enough, although some people might say unfortunate enough, but for me, it was fortunate enough to be the first session that they actually recorded for that game at all. So they were still figuring out how they were going to be doing all of the sessions, figuring out how we were going to have people working through the music. Even the sheet music was sort of a new invention, because we had so much branching dialogue like a game, so you had to jump around in the sheet music to figure out what measures are you singing this time. These two measures might be on this page, then the next, so all of that. But so as a result, they gave me a lot of freedom to sort of pitch them the voice that I wanted to give her. And so I came in with this sort of Eartha Kitt style voice, as they describe it. I love it. But I came in with this sort of Eartha Kitt kind of voice for her, as in when she was in her native state, shall we say. And then when she switched to being more mesmerizing, I wanted it to sound more like a lyrical soprano, so that it sounded very traditionally beautiful, and that we could see both of those sides of her personality. And Austin had written the music, but not it hadn't been filled out, so that all of the singing that I was doing was to there was a gentleman who was singing the words and playing it on the piano, and then it turned into, for those of you who have played it, it turned into that incredible sort of EDM sound that happened. And according to Austin, the voice that I came in with and offered to them helped him decide how he wanted to shape that music, because he had originally had a very different idea for what it would sound. So it was absolutely the best circumstance in terms of being able to collaborate and having people who are open to suggestions. Not all the time. That's really not the case all of the time. I was very, 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 very lucky. So thank you for that question. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I
And
like it too.
the second part was about mythology and how
Oh
much
yes.
it affected you.
Um, it affected for me personally, I have always felt like the untold story of Medusa would be an interesting thing to explore, because ultimately she was turned into Medusa unfairly. She was turned into this monster by a vindictive goddess. And so having a chance to give her a more compassionate portrayal was definitely something that I wanted to do, and was already written into the lyrics in a really cool way as one of the options for the player character to discover depending on the choices that they made. I can't necessarily speak to the other storylines, but I know that there are a ton of great interviews with Austin Wintry and Troy Baker out there, and David Gator, to fill you in on what their full creative process was. Okay, Dan, hit us again.
This one is from Cantu for Julia.
From Cantu for Julia.
They wonder if they're getting into studying software for coding and
Mhm.
gaming, and they wondered what's the best place to start? Interning, certain schools,
Mhm.
something like that.
Sorry, I was trying to understand sign language over there in the corner, and I couldn't do it. This is a question for Julia. So, for someone who's studying software encoding or software coding and hopes to get into game development, what's the best place to start? Is it interning? Is it certain schools?
So I think in general, there's so much information out there, especially on YouTube, on the internet, on people are really willing to give information, especially on gaming, that I would just start looking for community, looking for other people doing it, looking for beginner places to do it, seeing if you can do it with other people so that you can really get embedded in it and know if it's
Mhm.
something you want before you're paying for a school. And
Mhm.
then eventually you will want to go to a program. Some people skip over going to a school or a program. I don't mean it has to be a 4-year university, but I do think going to some kind of a program that is focused on programming for games, and then figuring out which area of programming, because there's a lot of specialties for coding. There's scripting, which is making events happen within the game, but there's also coding, which is making certain systems within the game work. And you can
Mhm.
do that with physics systems. You can do that with sound systems. Audio coders are some of the hardest people to find,
Mhm.
audio programmers for games. So yeah, just kind of depending on what your interest is, and your by embedding yourself in the community, it'll be a lot easier to kind of tell which part of that you're going to be wanting to pursue. And then as early as possible, just trying to get a job in games. The modding community is huge, and being able to mod games in order to show off your skills is a great way to start as well.
That is a great question. I'm so glad that you're the person here with us to answer it, because it is definitely not something that I would ever have an answer to. I need you to vamp for a little bit,
Okay,
because
tech.
we're on a live stream and I have blocked my husband in with my car. So I'm gonna go find the keys
Oh, this
while
is
you vamp.
awesome.
You
Live
guys, this is
stream,
the best.
live
This is live
stream. This is
stream.
live television. Speaking of live television, did you all see my live television appearance with Anjali? It was my very first, and I was terrified, but she makes things easier for me. So I made it happen. But it was really actually quite interesting seeing the all the cameras slide around and moving different spots. You can hear us giggling at the top of the clip while they're showing it, because we were actually like talking off screen, because I don't know what I'm doing, but it was quite fun doing all this stuff with Anj. Helps because she's a pro, and yeah, that's what I'm learning, being in front of the camera now instead of behind the camera. There she is. Good timing.
Did you miss me?
I did. I was talking about my live television performance.
Yes.
And
Did any of you guys get a chance to see that? Oh, I can't hear myself. Did I screw something up?
I can hear you. You can't hear yourself.
I'm fine. I just can't hear
Hello.
myself, but that's
Hello,
okay.
hello.
All right.
Um
As long as
yeah,
you guys can hear me. If you
we
guys
can
can
hear
hear
you
me, we're
great.
fine. Great,
We
great,
can
great,
hear
great.
you great. Yeah,
Did you guys get a chance to see Baby's first TV show?
Baby's first
Was
TV. I was saying how cool it was watching the cameras swing around and how we had to like shuffle, and you can hear us giggling at the top of the cliff because we were talking over it. And
Yeah.
but how you make it easier for me because I'm
Oh.
not used to all the rigmarole.
Well, the folks over there at KTL, the folks over there at KTLE5 and at CBS Studios are just so sweet.
They were
Big shout out
lovely.
to Kalina and to Mark from Channel 5, from KTLA, from CBS. I don't even know if it's considered Channel 5 anymore because it's in like 17 different places on Paramount Plus. I don't know. Streaming makes everything confusing.
That's
But
true.
but you did a wonderful job, and it was
Hmm.
really lovely to get a chance to talk about the show with that audience because
Yeah.
again, they aren't as versed in as many of you are who are watching. They aren't necessarily as versed in games and what's going on in games, and so they had the same sort of new perspective on things that we had hoped many people would have, starting to realize how much goes into this incredible career, this incredible path, this incredible creative path that so many of us have chosen.
Hmm.
All right, I'm pretty sure that I have saved my husband and he can flee the scene now, which means that we can keep asking questions. Hit me, Dan.
Yay.
One's for you, Anjali.
This one's for me, Anjali,
From
Oh,
Troy Allen.
from Troy Allen. Hi, Troy Allen.
hi,
They
Troy.
acknowledge how great it is that you get to draw from being both an actor and a singer.
Ah, yes.
And they
Okay.
wondered what other areas of your life do you maybe draw inspiration from for characters?
What a cool question. Okay, so Troy has asked, I'm going to paraphrase this. Troy has asked how fun it must be to be able to draw on my experience as a singer and as an actor. And are there any other skills that am I getting this right?
Areas of your
Any
life.
other areas of my life that I get to draw inspiration from? Yes, every single one of them. Here's the wonderful part about being an actor. There is nothing you can do or learn in your lifetime that will not serve you as an actor because experience is experience, and everything that you bring to your characters and to your performances, uh, we are all a sum of the unique experiences and the way that we have dealt with them in our lives, right? And that is part of what makes every human being unique because no two people, even if you're identical twins, you don't have the exact same set of experiences. So anything that you experience, whether it's rock climbing or doing surgery or doing a podcast, anything that you are doing in one way or another feeds into this ocean of experiences that you have to pull from. So for example, with Symmetra, I definitely, and this is also in terms of like the vocal quality, since you're talking about being a singer, I definitely pulled from my experiences of a combination of very cool and elegant Indian women, like my cousin, who I call the Queen of Mumbai, because she can get anything done in 5 minutes flat, which in Bombay is incredible, and Mumbai is incredible. But also the typical Indian auntie who is incredibly judgmental and scathing without actually you being prepared for it. So some of her lines were written um, so pointedly, but not necessarily judgmentally, that I wanted to use that experience, that very specific experience of mine, to fill her with the "I'm just calling it as I see it. Let us discuss your failures." And you're like, "What, Auntie? I'm sorry, I'm not a doctor." So yeah, absolutely. It's a very long answer to a short question. Every experience that I've had has served me on television, in voiceover, and on stage. It's a very very cool thing, and in TTRPG actual play for sure. Hit us, Dan.
Couple more interesting questions from Esmer to Dragon.
All right, Esmer, killing it.
Some behind the scenes stuff.
Oh,
Leading up to a voice recording, are there any lines you get to see beforehand? And is there sometimes special equipment that you need for certain recordings?
this is also a great question. So, Esmer Two Dragon is asking, leading up to voice recording, do you get a chance to see the lines beforehand? And is there occasionally special equipment that you need before recordings? I'm very happy you asked this question because I'm going to tell you about something incredibly cool that I got to do during the pandemic. So, normally it's not like once you've set up your home studio, there isn't necessarily any new stuff that you need to get. You get your solid microphone, you get yourself in a place that's soundproof. You either end up getting something like Source Connect or some other kind of software so that you're able to connect with the folks on the other end, Zoom, all of that. But in terms of, and then I'm going to tell you a story after that. So put a pin in the equipment question. But in terms of seeing the lines, it's kind of a crapshoot. Like sometimes yes, sometimes no. When I started doing Overwatch, I saw absolutely nothing until I went in the room. And that was every session. We did not get the lines ahead of time. I did get the Hindi lines ahead of time because I knew I had to work on them. So I warned them, if you want me to speak in Hindi, I need them ahead of time. But they usually keep things very close to the chest. And I mean, on occasion, I'll get them a day or two for ongoing games where they know that I'm not going to leak anything. They trust me. Sometimes they'll give it a few, even more days. Oh, wait, hang on a second. You guys, our positive vibe technician is here. Hang on. Oh, come here. Oh, he was just kicking my
There
chair.
he is,
Here he
Mr.
is.
Rescue Dog.
Yes, you guys, happy National Rescue Dog Day as Charlie licks away the fourth grade through my nose.
Charlie gets an executive producer
He
credit.
does. He does indeed. This is indeed our positive vibe technician here at Slap Studios, Los Angeles. He's gonna sit here on my lap, I guess, for a minute because he was very excited to be. No, oh my god, gosh. They always say don't act with animals and children. I can't help but act with this little guy because I love him so much. Oh yeah, so the story I want to tell you. So during the first lockdown that we had, um, I had just been cast as Rampart, and so we had only recorded maybe one or two sessions of her, but they were going to have to release her when season 6 happened, which was like in August of 2020. So they magically, I don't know how they made this happen. They sent me the entire rig to be able to do performance capture, the camera to attach to my head, and they basically talked me through on a Zoom how to put it together, how to put it on. Rick, my husband, had to put the dots on my face so that they could mark where different spots were, and then I ran around our house pretending to jump out of planes, and it was quite the extraordinary experience, and I am amazed at the tenacity of game developers that they were like, "No, we don't care if there's a global pandemic. We're going to make sure this gets out. We're going to figure out a way."
We're gonna
And
pivot.
we're going to pivot exactly. But also how fantastic. I mean, how lucky are we that they did that because during the pandemic so many
We
of
needed
us turned to
games.
games. We
Yeah.
really needed games, and
Mhm.
we needed inspirational characters, and we needed games that had a world worth fighting for, like we talk about in Overwatch, or games with tons of representation like that and Apex Legends. We needed that to connect with each other and to connect with ourselves. And so that was a very unexpected experience, and I don't foresee that having to happen to other people. But I just wanted to share that because it was pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool. Got any questions for Julia?
Well, this one's for both of you, but I bet she has opinions
I
on it.
bet she does. Give it to us,
So,
Dan.
how do you feel about having people on the podcast? This comes from Leo Lozano.
Hi, Leah Lozano. Thank you for your question.
How do you feel about having people on the podcast from outside native US and UK?
How do we feel about having people on the podcast from outside native US and native UK? Funny you should ask that because we've already got some people lined up, one of them in
We
particular.
certainly do. We love it. We want
Yeah.
to be as global and international as possible. We also want to show representation from all sizes of games.
Hmm.
And even though Abu's game, it's an indie company, he did have a lot of eyeballs on him. And
Hmm.
we definitely want to show like even smaller games, smaller perspectives,
Hmm.
and more niche products because there's so many different levels and types of games to be involved in. I'd be very curious to talk to people even outside of kind of what the game field is like that we know of. So things
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
serious games where they use them for medical purposes and things like that. I think
Yeah.
there's a whole world that we would really like to explore
Yeah.
with this, and really the only thing preventing it is time on this darn planet. But we're
Yeah.
trying.
Yeah, and getting our guests together and all of us together because of our crazy schedules. One organization that I really on that particular topic that you brought up, Julia, I would very much like to just mention there is a wonderful organization called Games for Change based out of
Mhm.
New York, and they very specifically are supporting game developers and creators who are using games for the powers of good, using them for education, for medical training, for chemistry training. Can you imagine being able to do chemistry experiments in school without being afraid of blowing yourself up? How cool would that be? So they're a wonderful organization. I'm going to be out in New York working with them this summer at their event. But please look them up. Games for Change. They are extraordinary, and we definitely want to have more people from that background coming in. But there is a particular Indian game developer that I'm trying to pin down that we will be bringing on the podcast soon. And if you guys have any
Suggestions.
suggestions,
Yeah.
characterselect@gmail.com, send them on over. We'd love
Care
to hear
care
them.
select pod at gmail.com.
Careselectpod@gmail.com. I don't know. I don't read. I'm not literate. Careselectpod@gmail.com. Or you can suggest them in the comments. You can suggest them on the interwebs, anywhere that our eyeballs will see them. Awesome. All right. How about another one, Dan? This question is for Charlie. Okay.
Who is a good boy?
Charlie wants to know. Okay, they want to know who's a good boy. Hey, buddy. Oh, he's busy chewing his foot. Give me a second. And who asked? Who asked this question?
Oh, this is Sentinel again.
Sentinel. Sentinel is asking, who's a good boy? Yo! I guess we
Showing off.
know.
Show off. Show
Oh,
off.
little nugget. Little nugget. See, this is why we have National Rescue Dog Day, so that we can celebrate the day that all of the puppies rescued the humans.
Ah, the
Because
best.
he's kind of fantastic. All right, hit us again.
Joseph Valdez wants to know if we'll have a meet and greet in California sometime.
Joseph Valdez would like to know if we will have a meet and greet in California sometime. I think that is a fantastic idea. Julia and I have both talked about wanting to do live versions of character or live
Live shows.
shows of Character Select at conventions all over the place, and we'd love to do one here
Right
in Los
here.
Angeles. We'd love to bring people on. And as far as a meet and greet, we've also done some book events together, so we could
Mhm.
certainly set some of those up. So we don't have anything planned per se, but yes, we absolutely have that in the works. And once we do figure them out, we hope you will either be subscribed to our Patreon so you can know about all the events there, or following us on the socials. You'll know about it there. We should talk about the Patreon a little bit.
We
I mean,
should. It's a
we
work
probably
in
should.
progress,
It's
and
a work in progress, but we are very happy to be doing it. We want to be able to provide you guys with even more value,
mhm.
if we can, if there's a way to do it. And with the Patreon, you get the episodes a day ahead with no ads, which is awesome. And then also through different levels, there are a personal 15-minute meet and
Meet
greets
and
that you
greet.
can have with us. There are much smaller Q&As that we will be doing on a Zoom, so you'll be able to actually chat with us one-on-one. We have merch. We will have early access to live events, all sorts of
Mhm.
fun stuff. So yes, please check out the Patreon as well. Tari has. I see that Tari just asked about PAX Oz. I mean, hey, if they build it, we will
Request
come.
us.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
best way to get us to a live event near you is to message the company who is throwing the event. Message those promoters and request us. If you guys want us there, the chances of us getting there are tremendously so much higher.
Yes.
All right, Dan.
They want to know which episode did you personally cherish the most? That's from Sentinel again.
Can't
Which
pick
episode did we?
favorites.
Yeah, no, that's like Sentinel.
It's
We
like choosing
cannot
a
pick.
baby.
Yeah, no, we can't pick our favorite episode. That's not. It's no, can't
Everyone
do
is
it.
so different, and I can say that
Yeah.
every time we walked out of the room after each episode, there was a sense of joy and accomplishment and pleasure that you just
Mm-hmm.
don't get from everyday life. truly one of the most fun and rewarding things that I think I've done. So
Yeah, and yes, and getting to continuing to get the stories of how people found their way to where they are now is such a it's so intriguing to me, and that's one of the reasons why, again, like, no one episode feels like, oh, that was the one, because everybody's journeys are just so cool, and so random, and usually the only through line is they are following the joy,
mhm.
which sounds so cheesy, but it's very, very true. You just find them following the joy, and then all of a sudden their life kind of this thing kind of comes together into what they have created. Especially like you look at Jayanne Lopez, who made a lane for because she wanted there to be something in the world that there wasn't anything of. That's a terrible grammatical sentence, but she saw a place, a niche that was not filled, and she stepped into it. And how cool is that?
So
So,
cool.
so cool. So cool. Great question. All right, Dan.
This is for Julia.
Hmm. For Julia.
Are there people you've wanted to work with forever that you haven't been able to work with yet?
Are there people that you've wanted to work with forever that you have not been able to work with yet?
Yeah, absolutely. I think every new client, new game, new actor is like an opportunity, and I love my job so much that I really enjoy connecting people, and the part of it where it's like matchmaking.
Mm,
That's the piece that gives me joy. I don't know that there's like a specific project or company or anything like that, or actor that I haven't worked with that I would want to, because I feel like there's a billion.
mhm.
But also,
Well,
like, I'm so lucky. I have worked on so much amazing stuff. I feel incredibly grateful for the opportunities I've had.
I want to shout out something that Julia does, or a part of her character that is just really, really special to me. Casting directors, obviously they are tasked with the almost impossible task sometimes of finding someone who is uniquely a particular thing. And Julia is tireless in her quest to meet as many people as she possibly can, find out what makes them tick, find out what they love, find out who they are, so that she knows she has this incredible wealth of people to draw from when companies come to her to look for actors. And I see it because we've spent a lot of time together, both professionally and personally. I see how much you are committed to that all day every day, like that's a huge part. It's not just you being a connector, it's you being a lover of people, and a real advocate for everybody that you bring in. And it's a really, really special thing. And I wish more actors knew that there's someone like you out there, and like maybe there's only one of you, but for the most part, casting directors are on our side. They really want us desperately to be the guy that they're going to hire, or not the guy, the proverbial guy, be the guy, but like be the person that they're going to hire. They want you to walk in and surprise them. They want you to walk in and be uniquely you. And I know that very, 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 very clearly from watching you work.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I think that in order to be like just and equitable, like, I
Mhm,
have to be accessible.
mhm,
And I
mhm,
think that that's something in casting that's very foreign, because
mm,
it's so competitive, because so many people want to get in front of you. But I feel like it's my job to deal with that. That's part of the
mm,
job. That's part of the BS, in order to be accessible to the people who aren't as easy to find, the
mhm,
people who don't have the resources to get to me
mhm,
in certain ways or shapes or form. And that's one of the main reasons I wrote the book, was to make the information accessible and not and free if you want to get it at the library,
mhm.
because I wanted the information out there so that people can improve and can follow these paths, um and find casting directors, because they're ivory towers normally.
Yeah.
And how do you be equitable and just without being accessible?
That is a very good question. You can't. I don't think you can, and you do such a great job of it. Hey, you guys,
Thanks.
I just realized in our quest for technological glory, we did forget to hook up the doll, so to speak, for those of you who saw Weird Science, because we haven't included the actual character select account in this live. So when
Yeah.
you get
Go
off of here,
follow it.
please go follow it. You have been seeing messages from Care Select Pod throughout the chat there on Instagram. Please, please, please follow us on Instagram. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us pretty much everywhere you can. Please send us comments. Let us know what you love about the show. Let us know if you don't love things about the show. Just let us know. We want to hear from you.
Follow, follow,
Um,
follow. Subscribe, share,
yes,
like.
do all the things. Push all the buttons that they ask you to push.
Tell
I don't
your
know.
friends.
That's the best part. Please, word of mouth, word of mouth, word of mouth. If you're enjoying this, please tell a friend. Please tell 10 friends so that we can share these stories from so many incredible people with more of you. All right, Dan. One more question before we are done for the night.
The final question.
This is one more from Esmer to Dragon.
Esma to Dragon, all right, VIP.
You've worked with some YouTubers, by which I think they mean like indie groups.
Okay, we've worked with some YouTubers.
How does that differ from working with a bigger company?
How does that differ from working with a bigger company? So, like you said, that we think you mean more like independent game companies as opposed to larger game companies like, say, Insomniac or Blizzard or whatever. What? How do you feel about that, Julia?
In terms of actors, or in terms of, I'm not sure I fully understand the question.
Is there a difference between working with? What is the difference for you between working with independent, smaller game companies and the big ones?
Budget.
Hmm.
A lot of times, I mean, part of the thing that people don't think of is that if a company is hiring me, then they can afford to hire someone to cast.
Hmm.
I do get paid for my job, and that's not something that people necessarily budget for smaller games. A lot of times they do the casting in house, or get a maybe a less kind of credited casting director to do some of those jobs versus the big games who put aside a proper budget for 100 roles. Or performance capture is definitely one
Hmm.
that happens a lot more on the bigger games because it's expensive. And so putting together those kinds of budgets is a thing. And then in terms of like YouTubers, in terms of the actor side,
Mm.
a lot of
Mm.
different people have come in from many different ways into voiceover, and have succeeded and been super accomplished. The biggest thing is, no matter which direction you come into VO or into games, is an acting base
Yeah.
and learning acting skills from an acting program, whether that's a college or uh, outside of a university setting. Just getting fundamental acting training is the key.
Yeah. Can't. I don't. I agree with. I can't say that enough. That I excuse me, I think there are so many people who are told that they have a beautiful voice, and I'm sure they do, and then like, oh, I should go do voice acting because I have a beautiful voice, but it is voice acting. So if you don't know how to convey those things and convey the stories, with that voice, then it's not necessarily going to be the field for you. But there are wonderful places to get education in that department. Shout out to our dear friend Jen Hales website,
Skills Hub.
skillshub.life. You can get incredible training there from working voice directors and actors, one on one training, very specific training. There's a whole community there. Please check it out, skillshub.life. I do want to go back around and give you my answer to one thing that you asked, Esmer, which is about working with independent game companies versus bigger game companies. What's the difference? One thing that I have discovered, or at least that I've noticed, I shouldn't say discovered, that I've noticed that was surprising to me, and I hope this isn't me talking out of turn, but it feels like independent game companies are more eager to include actors in the marketing of the game and include us in the process of sharing the game with the world. They're more likely to maybe put us out there as ambassadors of the game. And I can understand that because it is when you're putting other people in charge of things and you're putting other people out there with their voices, it can be a crapshoot if you don't know how they're going to necessarily represent the company. But it was a, it's one of the I'll go back to Stray Gods. It was such a joy to share that game with the world through them, because they were wide open to all of the different ideas that we had to be able to share this game with the world. They were very enthusiastic about that. So it's one of the things I do really cherish about working with independent game companies, is getting to be a part of the process after you've left the studio and continuing to be a part of the process. That's really, 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 really fun.
Hmm.
So hey guys, we gotta
Thank
go.
you.
Y'all have a night, and I have to take this dog out. This beautiful rescue dog, National Rescue Dog Day. Hi. Also, obviously, I'm getting a little slap happy. Gonna need some dinner and perhaps
Mhm.
24 hours of sleep. You guys, thank
Thank
you so much for
you.
joining
Thank
us
you.
for this
Thank you.
incredibly chaotic, insane live stream. We have no idea what this is going to
One
look like
down.
on the interwebs, but it's going to be there somewhere. And hopefully we'll figure this out a little bit more for the next time. But if you enjoy doing Q&As with us, please do join the Patreon. Sign up at that tier, because we are going to do more intimate one-on-one, not one-on-one, but intimate Q&As with folks, and one-on-ones at certain tiers. So we would love to see you there. Please follow, please subscribe, please do all of the
Like.
things. Like, and we will see you next time. Bye bye.
Thanks. Bye. We did it.
Are we still live? Did we get? I think that was still.